Hello again and welcome back to my shop. Lately I've been experimenting with segmenting. This brought up a question. Is it possible to make a segmented pin without having a bandsaw or a table saw or some type of a big saw with a sled to be able to cut to pieces? That idea was the impetus for this pin. I think the pin turned out amazing, and this pin was made on my drill press. Now what that means is you could make this pin with a hand drill, or if you happen to have a Jacobs chuck, you could make it right on your lathe. Want to know how I did it? Stick around and I'll be glad to show you. One last thing before we get started. I made two editions of this video. A long version which shows everything, including some problems that I had and how I went about solving them, and a short version for those of you who just want the facts. So down below in the comments, I'll include a link to both so you can make the choice that's right for you. For this blank, I'm going to need a whole bunch of half-inch dowels. So I've got 4 walnut blanks, 4 maple blanks, and I got a couple of small cutoffs. And I'm going to turn these down and turn them into half-inch dowels. The way I'm going to make the dowels is I'll start out by truing this blank up, and then I've made a half-inch tenon tool by sharpening the short end of a box wrench. And with that, we've got a really nice half-inch dowel. I did hit this with a little bit of 100 grit sandpaper, just enough to take the burrs off of it, but it's ready to be used. So let me get the others turned and I'll show you what I'm going to do with them. The layout for this blank is going to require a little bit of explaining. What I've done is I've drawn a center line down the blank so that I can line up all of the holes I'm about to drill in it. I found the center of the blank, and then I grabbed my tube. Now this is the tube from a Stratus pin, so you can see I've made the blank a little longer than the tube. But this will be my starting point for my first hole that I drill, and I'll be drilling this direction, so I'll start at the bottom and drill up. Now what I'm going to do is every 1/4 of an inch along the blank I'm going to draw a line, and that line will be the starting line for my drill bit to drill the half-inch holes. I think it'll make more sense once I get it drawn up and I'm able to show you. Here's what I was referring to about the 1/4 inch lines. What I've done is I've got my lines drawn on my blank at a 1/4 of an inch. I'm using a half-inch bit so I can center it on the center line, and I can have it touch this bottom line. I can drill a hole, insert a dowel, then I can move down one using this bottom line and the center line, drill another hole, and then I'll alternate to the maple dowel, and I'll continue down the blank alternating. I'm ready to begin drilling the blank. I'm going to be extremely careful to line up each of my lines here. There's our first hole. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go drill a dowel into the hole, and then we'll come back and drill our second. I'm going to start this side with a walnut dowel, and we'll just put a little glue on the dowel. All right. We'll put the dowel in, and then I'm going to shoot it with just a little bit of accelerator. Now I'll grab my flush cut saw and I'll cut the dowel off, and we'll drill our second hole. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my bit up where the center of the bit touches the bottom of that dowel and the edge of the bit touches this back bar, and I'll drill a hole which will take a half moon shape and leave that from this walnut dowel, and I'll insert the maple dowel, which should give a neat little effect. So let me get this lined up real carefully and I'll drill it out. And a shot of accelerator. I'm going to go ahead and finish out this side without the camera. I'll alternate the maple and walnut. I'll come back and show you what this side looks like. So here's how my blank's turning out. I started out with walnut, maple, walnut, maple. It's kind of hard to tell the difference because the glue's on there, but I've alternated them all the way down, and I've stopped here because the bottom of my blank is right here. That'll be the top of the next blank. So if I was to drill another hole there, it would be below the bottom of the blank. Here's one last look at my blank before I turn it. I've gone ahead, cut it to length, I've got both ends barrel trimmed. I've got my blank mounted up and I'm ready to turn it. I'm just going to go really slow and take really light cuts because I don't know how well this will hold together. I have no idea. I've not done this before, but I'm pretty excited about turning it and can't wait to see what it looks like. Got the blank round. It's looking pretty good. The blank sanded up very nicely. I'm happy with it. I think that looks pretty good. Let me get my polish out and polish her up. All right, I think that looks really cool. I'm going to go ahead and get it off the lathe and get it pressed into a pin kit, and we'll see what she looks like. So far, so good. Actually, I guess we want to put the ink cartridge in first. There we go. Mechanism's working good. I could not be happier with how this pin turned out. This was a complete experiment for me. I had the idea, but I didn't know if it would work or not. I've never done it before, but I actually proved to myself, and hopefully to you guys, that segmenting on a drill press is possible. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. If you really liked the video, do me the honor of sharing it with your friends. If you're not already a subscriber, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, and all of my future videos will be delivered directly to your YouTube feed. I want you guys to know that you're always welcome in my shop. Thank you for joining me and sticking with me today, and come back and see me again real soon. Have a good evening.